Howdy folks, welcome to vlog number 1, and you probably already guessed that from the title. But anyway, I wanted to tell you guys about our trip to go see the eclipse, and because there was some fun stuff that happened there. So I wanted to start out and show you, so here's where we are, and basically we had a large swath of places we could go to see the totality, because we wanted to go see the totality. And so as you see on the map, you know, that we could have gone anywhere from like Nebraska all the way across. And so as the time got closer, we didn't make any reservations or anything, because our plan was, you know, we're just going to drive to wherever it's going to be and we're going to sit on the side of the road or whatever, you know, because the thing is, you know, in the Midwest, the weather is cloudy a lot. And so you don't want to be, you know, committed to a single place, and especially far in advance. And so what we did was we waited and waited and watched the weather. And of course, as you get closer, the weather reports get more and more accurate, or the predictions and stuff. And so on the day before, it looked like Illinois and Kentucky, pretty much Kentucky and Tennessee, were going to be the best places. And so we headed out at midnight. So it was about 13 and a half hours before totality was supposed to start in that area. So we headed out at about midnight and drove down toward Kentucky, and we figured we were going to head to Paducah and then figure out, you know, basically find a rest stop or something from there and see what we can do. And so we started heading down, and when we got to southern Illinois, we were, you know, a little bit, maybe an hour, something like that away. And we're looking at all the weather reports and places near there. And we saw Carbondale looked close, and, you know, it was one of the better places for totality, and the weather looked good there. It was supposed to start getting cloudy at about, you know, 1 o'clock or whatever. So anyway, we got there early, and we were about 3 hours early. So we had some pancakes with the kids, and then we went and found, you know, scoped out a place to sit, and it was a parking lot of a restaurant. And the funny thing was, there was like right next to the parking lot of the restaurant, there was an empty lot of grass, and they had, you know, $20 parking to see the eclipse. And, you know, people were all parked and camped out and stuff, and they paid $20 to park in the place right next to where we were. So we were sitting there, and, you know, because the parking lot, it's not like the parking lot was full or anything. We weren't keeping anybody from being able to park there. And the funny thing was, you know, after a little bit, other cars started showing up and everything too. So there were actually quite a few. There were probably maybe a dozen other cars there that showed up, and we're watching, you know, as the eclipse started and everything. So it started, and as it was starting, you know, you get about an hour and a half from when it starts until it actually, you know, you get to totality. And so we're watching the sky, and it's starting to get a little bit, you know, clouds here and there, and they're not coming in from a direction and not blowing in like, you know, where we live normally. The clouds just blowing from the west. And so if you want to know what it's going to look like in an hour, you just look to the west. And but, you know, where we were, they were actually just forming wherever, you know, in the sky, and basically they weren't coming from somewhere else. They were just kind of coalescing in the middle of the sky. So we were kind of starting to get worried about that, and we were watching, and, you know, about 20 minutes out, there was a cloud that came over, and, you know, it looked like it was going to blow over, and that's cool. And then there were some big clouds way up high that were starting to come in, but, you know, they're way higher, so they're going to move slower. And, you know, we're like, okay, I think we'll make it. And then at the last minute, well, I'll roll the video here, and as you can see, this cloud is coming in, and I mean, it's like 4 minutes before totality, and it's giant, huge. Is that cloud gonna block it or what? No, can't see the views. Oh, that big one is coming. Yep. You want to go? Let's go. All right, boys, put on your seatbelts. We're going. I feel sorry for the people who were in that parking lot because I'm sure they got blocked or whatever. And there were some restaurant workers. We had we had extra pairs of glasses, so we gave them out to the people that were coming out on break from the restaurant, and some people that had showed up and didn't have extra glasses and everything. So, but yeah, they all got to watch the first half of it, and then they missed. I'm sure they missed totality because we got in the car and we drove and basically got out of the parking lot and got onto the main road. And the funny thing was we had to go, those clouds were coming from the east, and so we had to go west to get away from it and to get out of the shadow. And we had to go east on that road to get to a light to turn around because there was no left turn out of that place. And so it was kind of scary. It's like, we're going to miss it. So, and I mean, I was sitting at the light and there was nobody. I mean, it was like abandoned because everybody's watching, and everybody's watching the sky. Nobody wants to be driving. So it's pretty much abandoned. And I mean, I was so close to just blowing the light and making a U-turn. But we waited for the light and turned around and went zooming down the highway to the west. And it's funny because we ended up stopping at a spot. We did pass, we got past the cloud, and I mean, it was right when totality started too. We got past the clouds. So I drove about another half mile or a mile down the road and stopped, and they were watching out the window while I was driving. So yeah, we got to get out. We stood on the side of the road as the original plan was, and we got to watch the totality. There it is. It's totality. We made it. We beat the clouds. Just barely.
Yeah, can't get a decent picture of it, but man, that's awesome.
You get a picture with your tab?
All I'm seeing is just a tiny speck and a ton of white. No way! That looks like a black hole. That's an eclipse. That's an eclipse.
Just awesome. Look at that. What do you think?
Okay.
And it was really cool. And it's funny because I've seen pictures of it and I expected that's what it was going to look like. And we just we really wanted the kids to see it and everything because I mean the next opportunity is going to be when they're teenagers and stuff. They're not going to be young forever and everything. They're not going to be able to see another one after that for a long, long time. So yeah, we definitely wanted them to see it, and I was just mind blown. The totality. It does not. There is no picture or video that you can watch that will give you any idea of what to expect. It is mind blowing. It's really cool, the amount of contrast and the whole sky, the lighting in the whole sky. It's like sunset lighting, and I mean the corona is out there and it's just shining. It is the coolest thing. I mean, you can hear like the choir music. It is really cool. And then the other thing that is really awesome is when the very first little bits of the sun come back, it is like super pure, bright. I heard somebody describe it as like a diamond laser beam. It is absolutely amazing to look at, and it's something you will never forget. And so if you do get a chance to go see totality, by all means, go see it. It is really, really, really cool. And we sat in the car for a total of about 26 hours between all the driving there and back. I mean, we sat in traffic on the way back. It took about 14 hours to get back. And it was totally worth it. Totally worth it for 2 minutes of totality. So yeah, if you get a chance to go see it, definitely do. I did not get any awesome pictures. So, but like I said, it's, you can find pictures all over the internet and they're still not going to do it justice anyway. So that is the first vlog, and I plan on doing these. I'm trying to do maybe one a month, and maybe I can do some more often depending on what I've got as far as topics. So if you got any ideas for topics, suggest those too. But yeah, so we'll see you in the next episode or the next vlog. Later.